2026 is your year. Transform yourself completely. 2026 is not arriving to save you, it is arriving to expose you. This is the year where excuses finally lose their power and comfort stops protecting you. Listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not motivation. It is preparation. Preparation to become untouchable. Preparation to operate above noise, above emotion, above the need for validation. Most people will enter 2026 hoping things change, hoping someone notices them, hoping life becomes easier. You are not most people. This year is not about becoming liked. It is about becoming dangerous in the quietest way possible. Machiavelli understood this. Power never announces itself. It builds in silence. While others talk, you observe. While others react, you calculate. While others chase attention, you build leverage. 2026 is the year you stop explaining yourself. You no longer need approval to move. You no longer need permission to evolve. The weak announce their plans. The strong move without witnesses. From this moment on, your emotions answer to you, not the other way around. You do not complain. You do not beg. You do not chase. You replace emotional chaos with cold clarity. Discipline becomes your language. Detachment becomes your armor. Silence becomes your threat. This is the mental fortress. You do not raise your voice. You raise your standards. You do not argue. You outgrow. You do not react. You reposition. Let others underestimate you. That is not an insult. It is an advantage, because while they think you are quiet, you are building an internal empire they cannot touch. 2026 is the year you stop trying to be understood and start being respected without asking for it. And if this message already resonates, if you feel that shift happening inside you, I want you to lock it in. Comment this phrase below and claim it. I rise in silence. This is only the beginning. Part 1, the death of your old self. Understand this clearly. The version of you that survived until now cannot carry you through 2026. That identity is expired. The habits you normalized, the fears you tolerated, the distractions you defended, they all end here. Transformation is not gentle. It is violent, internal, and irreversible. Machiavelli never spoke about comfort. He spoke about control, and control begins the moment you decide that your old self is no longer welcome in your future. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop romanticizing struggle. You stop calling laziness rest and fear patience. This year demands precision. Every action either builds power or leaks it. There is no neutral. You cut what drains you. You sharpen what strengthens you. You do not wait for motivation. You move through resistance until discipline replaces emotion. Masculine stoicism is not coldness, it is mastery. You feel everything, yet nothing controls you. Pain becomes data. Failure becomes instruction. Silence becomes strategy. In 2026, you do not announce change. You embody it so deeply that people feel it without you speaking. That is true dominance. That is mental fortress energy. If you are ready to let the old version of you die without apology, mark the decision publicly. Comment this below and seal it. The old me is finished. Part 2. Discipline becomes your freedom. 2026 will test your patience before it rewards your discipline. This is where most fail. They want outcomes without structure, power without pressure, respect without restraint. You will do the opposite. You will build systems, not moods. You will schedule pain, not pleasure. Every morning becomes a contract you honor even when nobody is watching, especially then. Machiavellian power is boring on the surface and ruthless underneath. Repetition forges dominance. Consistency makes you invisible to temptation. While others seek balance, you seek command. You control sleep, appetite, money, words, and time. If something steals focus, it is removed. If someone drains energy, access is limited. There is no drama, only adjustment. Stoicism trains you to endure without leaking emotion. Dark psychology teaches you to see patterns without judgment. Together, they give you leverage. You stop reacting to disrespect and start engineering distance. You stop chasing opportunities and start positioning so they come to you in 2026. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom purchased daily. You choose delayed reward because it compounds into authority. You train when tired. You study when bored. You remain calm when provoked. This is how fear dissolves. This is how confidence hardens. Speak less. Observe more, move decisively, let results speak in rooms you never enter. When doubt appears, treat it as noise, not instruction. Return to the plan, execute the next small action again, again. If this code is settling into your bones, anchor it. Comment the phrase, I command my days. Say it once, then live it relentlessly. The world bends to those who bend themselves first. And 2026 belongs to the disciplined. Stand firm, stay precise, protect your focus, reject shortcuts, refine your craft daily, and remember, power grows quietly, but it grows faster when you obey the process fully always. Part 3. Silence builds your reputation. In 2026, you learn a brutal truth. The more you speak, the less weight your words carry. Power is not loud. Power is consistent. Power is seen, not announced. This year, you stop narrating your life and start engineering it. You do not broadcast goals. You execute privately. You do not defend decisions. You let outcomes close mouths for you. Machiavellian strategy demands restraint, because silence creates mystery and mystery creates leverage. When people cannot read you, they project onto you. When they cannot predict you, they respect you. You stop explaining delays. You stop justifying ambition. You stop seeking agreement. Silence protects momentum. Stoicism trains you to endure boredom, loneliness, and misunderstanding without collapsing into noise. Dark psychology teaches that people reveal their true intentions when you give them nothing to react to. In 2026, you listen more than you speak. You study patterns, not promises. You let others overplay their hand while you conserve energy. This is how reputation is built, through alignment between word and action. One sentence backed by discipline outweighs 1,000 emotional speeches. You become known for follow-through, not talk. Calm replaces urgency. Precision replaces chaos. You choose your words like weapons used only when necessary. Every unnecessary explanation is a leak. Every emotional outburst is a signal. You deny them both. Silence becomes your filter. Not everyone deserves access to your plans, your fears, or your future. Privacy sharpens ambition. Solitude strengthens resolve. In mental fortress terms, this is internal fortification. Walls high, gates controlled. You do not chase credit. You let results circulate your name without you present. That is real influence. If challenged, you remain calm. If doubted, you remain consistent. If ignored, you remain focused. Time does the arguing for you. This frustrates manipulators and humbles critics. In 2026, your restraint becomes your signature. People feel your presence before you speak. They notice your absence when you leave. This is not arrogance. It is discipline matured into authority. If this code resonates, mock it internally. Comment this phrase now. My silence speaks, then protect it. Speak less, build more. Let 2026 remember you not for what you said, but for what you quietly became through patience, control, and relentless execution under pressure. Part 4. Control the frame. In 2026, you stop reacting to the world and start controlling the frame. Whoever controls the frame controls the outcome. Most people argue inside boxes built by others. They defend accusations they never agreed to. They explain choices they never needed to justify. You exit that trap. You decide what matters, what does not, and what never gets a response. This is advanced power. Machiavellian awareness teaches that influence begins before words are spoken. Tone, timing, posture, silence, and boundaries speak first. You enter conversations calm and leave them unchanged. You do not chase agreement. You set terms through presence. Stoicism trains your nervous system to remain steady under pressure. Dark psychology shows that unstable people try to pull others into emotional frames to gain control. You refuse the invitation. When attacked, you do not escalate. You redirect. When questioned, you answer briefly or not at all. When challenged, you slow everything down. Control is shown through pace. Speed is emotional. Stillness is dominant. In 2026, you choose stillness. You stop volunteering information. You stop over-explaining. You stop feeling silence to ease discomfort. Silence is not awkward. It is a test. Most fail it. You pass. You allow others to reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. This shifts power instantly. You are no longer predictable. Predictability is exploitable. Calm uncertainty unsettles manipulators. They cannot push buttons they cannot find. This is how you protect your mental fortress. You manage perception without obsession. You let people assume while you execute. You understand that reputation is shaped by consistency, not conversation. So you act the same privately as publicly. No masks, no performances, just alignment. When you do speak, your words land heavier because they are rare. You choose clarity over volume, precision over emotion. You frame situations in your favor by refusing to accept weak narratives about yourself. You are not lucky. You are prepared. You are not aggressive. You are intentional. You are not cold. You are disciplined. In 2026, you stop letting others label you. You define yourself through behavior repeated daily. If this principle is locking in, mark it. Comment this phrase now: I control the frame. Remember this: you do not win by arguing better. You win by choosing the ground, control the pace, control access, control attention. The man who controls the frame controls outcomes without force, noise, or permission. He moves first internally, then externally. He remains calm when provoked, brief when questioned, and silent when silence creates advantage. This is not arrogance. This is self-command refined. Carry this forward daily. Practice restraint, study reactions, adjust strategy, protect your frame relentlessly. In 2026, those who master the frame master themselves, and those who master themselves become impossible to move, manipulate, or break under pressure ever again. Part 5, Identity Overhaul. In 2026, you do not chase goals. You rebuild identity. Goals are temporary. Identity is permanent. When identity changes, behavior follows automatically. Most people try to force discipline onto an unchanged self, then wonder why they fail. You will not repeat that mistake. You redesign who you are at the core. You decide what you tolerate, what you ignore, and what you destroy immediately. This year, you stop asking, what should I do, and start asking, who must I become? That question changes everything. Machiavellian power begins with self-definition. If you do not define yourself, the world will assign you a role that benefits it, not you. Stoicism teaches you that identity is built through repeated action, not self-talk. Dark psychology shows that people treat you according to the signals you consistently send, so you change the signals. Your posture becomes calm, your words become deliberate, your habits become non-negotiable. You no longer act based on mood, you act based on standard. Standards eliminate confusion. Confusion is weakness. In 2026, your standards become visible. You arrive on time. You leave when necessary. You speak directly. You do not gossip. You do not overshare. You do not seek reassurance. This creates friction with weak environments. Let it. Growth always offends stagnation. You accept that not everyone will recognize the new you immediately. That is fine. Identity change is not announced. It is enforced through consistency. You allow time to educate people. Mental fortress is built when inner alignment becomes external presence. You stop betraying yourself for comfort. You stop shrinking to maintain access. You stop pretending. You move with internal agreement. When actions match values, confidence stabilizes. You no longer need to prove anything. Your calm becomes convincing. Your restraint becomes intimidating. You understand that identity is a daily vote. Every choice casts a ballot. Skip training, you vote for weakness. Keep your word, you vote for authority. Avoid discomfort, you vote for stagnation. Enter resistance, you vote for evolution. Over time, the votes compound. In 2026, you vote correctly even when it costs you socially. Especially then you detach from applause, you detach from criticism. Both are distractions. You measure yourself against your own code. That is freedom. If this shift is happening inside you, anchor it now. Comment this phrase and make it real. I become the standard. Remember this. The world does not respect potential. It respects identity expressed through behavior. And in 2026, you are no longer becoming someone. You are deciding who you already are, then acting like it without hesitation, apology, or delay every single day until the old version no longer exists anywhere, even in memory. And only discipline, clarity, and controlled power remain visible to everyone who encounters you moving forward. Part 6. Power through consistent execution. In 2026, everything comes down to execution, not ideas, not motivation, not inspiration. Execution is the final separator between those who fantasize and those who dominate reality. You will notice something uncomfortable as this year unfolds. Most people know what to do. Very few actually do it. Knowledge is common. Action is rare. That rarity is where power lies. Machiavelli understood that fortune favors the prepared, not the hopeful. Preparation is execution repeated until it becomes instinct. You no longer wait for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions are a myth used by the undisciplined to delay discomfort. You move when it is inconvenient. You act when clarity is partial. You refine while moving. This is how momentum is built. Stoicism trains you to accept effort without emotional reward. Dark psychology reveals that people respect those who finish what they start. Completion signals reliability. Reliability attracts opportunity. In 2026, you become reliable to yourself first. You do what you said you would do, especially when nobody knows. This builds internal trust. Internal trust becomes confidence. Confidence removes hesitation. Hesitation is the enemy of execution. You break tasks into actions and actions into habits. You eliminate drama from progress. No mood swings, no speeches, just quiet repetition. Some days feel powerful, most feel ordinary, you execute anyway. This consistency compounds invisibly until suddenly people think you are lucky. You are not lucky, you are relentless. You track inputs more than outcome. Sleep, training, study, work, reflection, you measure them honestly, you adjust without emotion. Execution requires humility because reality gives feedback without mercy. Ego resists correction, discipline welcomes it. In 2026, you choose discipline, you remove friction wherever possible, tools prepared, schedule protected, environment designed for focus. You do not rely on willpower. You build systems that make the right action easier than the wrong one. This is intelligence applied. You stop multitasking. Multitasking is disguised avoidance. You focus deeply on one thing at a time and finish it. Finishing creates closure. Closure frees mental energy. Free energy accelerates execution. You do not seek recognition for effort. Only results matter. You allow others to talk while you work. This imbalance benefits you. While they debate, you build. While they complain, you adapt. While they quit, you continue. Execution also demands restraint. You say no to good opportunities to protect great ones. You delay gratification without resentment. You understand that power grows slowly, then suddenly. If this resonates, anchor it now. Comment this phrase and own it. I execute without excuses. Remember this, consistency beats intensity every time. The man who shows up daily, even at 80%, will outperform the man who waits for 100% and never starts. In 2026, you stop waiting, you move, you refine, you repeat. You allow time to reveal your edge. Execution strips illusion and leaves capability. Capability creates authority. Authority attracts influence. Influence multiplies outcomes. This chain only starts with action. No one is coming to push you. You push yourself quietly, repeatedly, relentlessly. By the end of 2026, your results will speak in rooms you are not in, and your past self will feel like a stranger you outgrew through disciplined execution alone. Part 7, Becoming Untouchable. In 2026, the final shift happens quietly. This is where you stop trying to become powerful and simply realize that you already are. Untouchable does not mean feared. It means unreachable by manipulation, chaos, or emotional leverage. You are no longer moved by praise or shaken by criticism. Both sound distant now like noise from another room. You have built internal authority through discipline, detachment, silence, isolation, framing, identity, and execution. Together they form something rare, self-command. Machiavelli understood that the most dangerous man is not the loudest or the most aggressive, but the one who cannot be controlled. Control is lost when emotion overrides reason. You no longer allow that. You feel anger without acting on it. You feel desire without obeying it. You feel fear without surrendering to it. This mastery creates calm. Calm creates clarity. Clarity creates timing. Timing creates advantage. In 2026, you move at the right moment, not the emotional one. You no longer rush to prove anything. Urgency is insecurity disguised as effort. You have outgrown it. Stoicism trains you to accept reality without complaint. Dark psychology trains you to see games without playing them. Combined, they make you untouchable. You are present but not reactive, engaged but not dependent, focused but not rigid. People sense this immediately. They adjust their behavior around you. Some respect it, some resent it. Both responses confirm your evolution. You do not correct perceptions. You let time educate. You stop trying to win arguments and start winning positioning. You choose environments that reward competence, not noise. You leave situations early when alignment disappears. You do not wait for disrespect to escalate. Boundaries are enforced quietly through distance. This conserves energy and preserves dignity. In 2026, dignity becomes non-negotiable. You no longer trade it for access, attention, or comfort. You accept that walking away is often the strongest move. Not everything deserves a response. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Silence and absence are complete sentences. You trust yourself enough to stand alone without feeling isolated. That is strength. You are no longer addicted to outcomes you cannot control. You focus on inputs you can. Process replaces anxiety. Routine replaces doubt. Repetition replaces hope. This stabilizes you under pressure. When others panic, you remain composed. When others rush, you wait. When others freeze, you act. This contrast elevates you naturally. You do not demand authority, you embody it. In mental fortress terms, this is the final lock. The fort is built, gates controlled, mind fortified. You are no longer seeking transformation. You are maintaining it. Maintenance is harder than change. It requires humility, consistency, and vigilance. You stay sharp by auditing habits, relationships, and standards regularly. You correct drift early. You rest deliberately. You train deliberately. You think deliberately. Nothing is accidental anymore. If this resonates, anchor it now, comment this phrase and make it permanent. I am untouchable. Carry this into the final stretch of 2026. You did not arrive here by chance. You earned this composure through discipline under pressure. Protect it, refine it, lave it, the world will test it. Let it fail, you remain steady. That steadiness is power, part 8. The standard you maintain, 2026 ends, but the work does not. This is where most transformations fail. People love beginnings, they celebrate breakthroughs, they announce change, but power lives in maintenance. Power is boring. Power is repetition. Power is doing the same correct things long after the excitement fades. This final stage is not about becoming someone new. It is about refusing to become who you used to be. You are no longer chasing discipline. You are defending it. You are no longer discovering standards. You are enforcing them. This is the quiet difference between men who rise briefly and men who remain unmovable. Machiavelli understood that once power is gained, it must be guarded daily. Complacency destroys more empires than enemies ever could. In 2026, you learned control. Now you practice vigilance. You audit your habits without mercy. You correct small drifts before they become collapses. You do not negotiate with laziness. You do not romanticize burnout. You do not confuse rest with escape. Everything has a purpose. Sleep restores, training sharpens, work compounds, reflection realigns. You move with intention, not impulse. Stoicism teaches you that life will test you repeatedly, not once. Dark psychology reminds you that people will test boundaries when they sense consistency. You remain consistent anyway. Calm is now your baseline. Focus is now your default. Discipline is now your identity. You do not talk about how far you have come. You do not need witnesses. Your results are enough. You accept that some will never understand the new you. That is the cost of evolution. You stop explaining. You stop softening edges. You stop shrinking to fit outdated versions of yourself. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. You choose environments that respect effort. You choose people who value restraint. You choose solitude when noise threatens clarity. You move slower but with precision. You speak less but with weight. You listen more but act decisively. Maintenance also means humility. You remember how easy it is to slip. You stay alert. You stay structured. You stay hungry but controlled. Hunger without control becomes desperation. Control without hunger becomes stagnation. You balance both. You accept boredom as proof you are on the right path. You accept pressure as proof you are carrying weight. You accept responsibility without complaint. This is what makes you rare. In mental fortress terms, this is sovereignty. You rule yourself. No mood commands you. No person destabilizes you. No setback defines you. You absorb impact and continue forward. This is the final transformation. Stability under all conditions. If this journey speaks to you, seal it one last time. Comment this phrase and own it fully. I maintain the standard, and before you go, support the mental fortress. Like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Not for motivation, but for reinforcement. Because power is not found once, it is practiced daily. Part 9, The Quiet Legacy. What comes after becoming untouchable is not conquest, applause, or domination. What comes after is responsibility. Responsibility to maintain clarity when others choose chaos. Responsibility to act with restraint when others act on impulse. Responsibility to carry strength without turning it into cruelty. In 2026 and beyond, you realize that true power is not about proving superiority. It is about not needing to. You have nothing left to announce. Your presence does the talking. Your decisions create gravity. Your consistency becomes reference. People begin to measure themselves differently around you. Not because you demand it, but because standards are contagious. You are no longer driven by revenge, validation, or urgency. Those are beginner fuels. You now move on principle. Principle lasts longer. Machiavelli warned that power without control collapses inward. You understand this deeply. You choose restraint over excess, precision over impulse, timing over speed. You do not rush victories, you let them mature. You do not expose strength unnecessarily. You protect it. Stoicism teaches that the highest form of strength is self-regulation. Dark psychology reveals that those who master themselves disrupt unhealthy systems simply by existing differently. You embody that disruption. Calm becomes your signal. Discipline becomes your signature. You do not need to intimidate. You do not need to impress. You do not need to dominate conversations. You let silence do the work. Silence forces others to confront themselves. Some grow, some retreat. Both outcomes serve you. You begin to think in longer timelines. Weeks no longer impress you. Months are acceptable. Years are preferred. Legacy thinking replaces short-term gratification. You ask better questions. What compounds? What endures? What survives pressure? You invest energy accordingly. You stop trying to win every interaction. You choose which ones matter. You let small losses pass because you see the larger board. Emotional maturity gives you strategic patience. You are not cold, you are selective. You care deeply about few things and perform exceptionally there. This focus multiplies effectiveness. You become harder to distract, harder to provoke, harder to derail. When setbacks occur, you process them without drama. You extract lessons, adjust course, and continue. No spirals, no self-betrayal. This reliability with yourself is the deepest confidence there is. Others may never see your internal battles. They only see stability. Stability creates trust. Trust creates influence. Influence creates opportunity. You do not chase opportunity. You prepare for it. Preparation keeps you humble because it reminds you how much there is to maintain. You train even when strong. You reflect even when right. You listen even when leading. These habits keep you grounded. In mental fortress terms, this is stewardship. You steward your mind, body, time, and attention as finite assets. You protect them fiercely. You say no cleanly. You say yes intentionally. You do not overpromise. You always deliver. Over time, this reputation precedes you. Doors open quietly. Resistance fades. You remain composed. You do not confuse access with entitlement. You respect the process that brought you here. If pressure increases, you welcome it. Pressure confirms relevance. You stay adaptable without losing identity. You evolve methods, not principles. You accept solitude when required and connection when aligned. You no longer fear being misunderstood. You no longer fear being alone. Both fears belong to the old version of you. This version is grounded, present, deliberate. If this final layer resonates, seal it. Comment this phrase and let it mock the transition. I protect the legacy. Carry this forward without announcing it. Let years reveal what discipline built. Let consistency do what motivation never could. You are not finished, you are established. Part 10, Vigilance Without Fatigue. In 2026, you understand that vigilance never sleeps. Power erodes quietly when attention drifts. You maintain sharpness through routines executed daily. Small standards enforced consistently prevent large failures later. You review inputs, cut waste, and reinforce strengths. This is not paranoia. It is professionalism. Stoic calm keeps emotion from steering decisions. Machiavellian clarity keeps outcomes aligned with interests. You remain flexible without bending, open without leaking, focused without narrowing. Discipline protects momentum. Silence protects intent. Distance protects judgment. Each layer compounds advantage while reducing exposure. You do not chase certainty. You build resilience through preparation, review, and adjustment cycles daily. You choose battles deliberately, refusing traps disguised as urgency. When pressure rises, you slow breathing, simplify options, and execute essentials. This steadiness influences rooms before dialogue begins. People test limits. You respond with consistency. They escalate. You remain neutral, boundaries hold because behavior never wavers, you document lessons, refine systems, and rehearse contingencies. Preparedness replaces anxiety, you anticipate friction and remove it early. Tools ready, schedules protected, priorities clear. Progress becomes inevitable when fundamentals are respected. Comment this anchor: I choose restraint, then act accordingly, calmly, decisively, repeatedly, without witnesses or applause. Trusting process over noise every single disciplined day. Maintenance demands recovery done correctly. You rest with intention, not escape. Sleep is scheduled. Training balances stress. Nutrition fuels output. Reflection resets alignment. You separate fatigue from excuses and address causes. When energy dips, you adjust load, not standards. This preserves longevity. You avoid extremes that sabotage continuity. Consistency outperforms bursts of intensity. You log metrics, spot trends, and correct early. Maintenance is invisible until absence exposes neglect. You keep promises small and frequent, reinforcing self-trust. Confidence stabilizes, presence steadies, authority accumulates, nothing dramatic, nothing wasted, only quiet continuity compounding capability across weeks, months, seasons, and cycles of focused effort. You remain ethical without advertising virtue. Fairness is strategic. Credibility multiplies reach. You negotiate cleanly, honor terms, and disengage when alignment breaks. This predictability attracts serious partners. You protect attention fiercely, avoiding outrage cycles and manufactured crises. Information is filtered. Opinions are weighed. Decisions are owned. You model composure under scrutiny, refusing to perform. Accountability is internal first, external always. When wrong, you correct swiftly. When right, you proceed quietly. This balance sustains trust without dependency. Your reputation travels ahead because delivery follows promise reliably. Influence grows through integrity expressed consistently, not slogans repeated loudly online or elsewhere. Ever again, as cycles continue, you teach without preaching. Standards educate silently. Others rise or drift. You stay centered. You welcome successors without fear. Knowing systems outlast individuals. Legacy becomes stewardship, not spotlight. You preserve margins, reinvest gains, and expand capacity. Curiosity remains. Arrogance exits. You seek feedback that sharpens. Ignore noise that distracts. When storms arrive, you shorten lists and execute basics. When calm returns, you build ahead. Comment this seal: I maintain vigilance. Then continue forward, patient, composed, accountable, and effective, letting years reveal the advantage earned through disciplined maintenance, ethical conduct, strategic restraint, and consistent execution beyond trends, cycles.